20 years ago, the one really big player was Microsoft. But Microsoft has now been joined by 4 other very, very large companies, each of which is run cleverly, but in a different way. They have different ways in which they win and they lose. We benefit from that brutal competition. Look at what you have in a mobile phone, the competition between Android and iOS and Apple phones and the Android ecosystem has brought a supercomputer into your pocket. That's going to continue. The reason it'll be different in 20 years is because artificial intelligence will create a whole bunch of new platform winners. And remember that the way this works is the US establishes global platforms that everyone else uses. We are forgetting that it is U.S. leadership at the platform level, whether it's Google or Apple or what have you, that has brought us to this point where we have multi-trillion-dollar corporations that are leading the market.
I want to get into China in just one more second, but let me ask you, as a former board member many, many years ago of Apple, right, what do you make of the Epic Games lawsuit against that company and the idea of these different stores being monopolistic?
So I don't know enough about the dispute. I left the board a decade ago. The important thing about the app stores is that they provide some level of security, branding, and protection for the user. In China, for example, Google does not have a single app store because of regulatory issues. And there's always been issues of, is the app that you're using certified and so forth. I would be careful about breaking up the app store model, as it does provide some security and protection. We can quibble about how they're managed, but the important thing is when you use an app store, you can rely that what's on it is represented to be what it really is. Just think of all those viruses that you are not getting as a result of the app store.
Right. In terms of China, you saw TikTok just filed a lawsuit against the U.S. government. The administration has said that they have till September 15th for that to become an American company. Otherwise, they're going to shut it down. Do you agree with that position from a security perspective, national security perspective?
I don't know what the confidential security concerns are about TikTok. The claimed reason for this action is data sovereignty. In other words, that the people would like to have the data for TikTok to be held in the United States. If that is the goal, there is a much simpler way to do it, which is to require TikTok and other companies like it to work with a cloud provider, Amazon, Google, or Microsoft as an example, who have the necessary security protections and are covered by U.S. law. What I worry about is that the U.S. taking a data sovereignty position, which is what this effectively is, sets the precedent that this will now be done against American firms that have global presence. Essentially, every American tech firm has data that's stored in the U.S. that's subject to U.S. law that's used by Europeans, for example, and they bristle at that. So now you're setting the precedent that they can insist on this too. Be very careful about the multi-move scenario, the back and forth in these things. It seems appealing, but then it sets in motion a whole bunch of things that can affect American dominance.
So, Eric, what's the right answer in this regard? I mean, you and I have talked about Huawei for a long time. You've also talked about the worry. I think you might even come up with the phrase splinternet, which is this idea that the internet is going to be split as a result of all this. How do you remain secure on one side and at the same time not create a splinter net?
We have benefited enormously by American values and American technology being used globally. I worry again, sorry we have all these worries, that what we're doing is we're splintering the internet, as you said, because it's so easy for a country to say we don't like these other people. But we are safer as a world because we're using each other's applications and we're getting to understand each other better. You have to make accommodations for national security. In Huawei's case, there was some evidence that Huawei was busy doing things that are inappropriate. There are a number of ways of stopping that and detecting it, but the best solution to Huawei is to have a strong competitor in the United States. And that strong competitor, right, should be able to wipe them out competitively. So again, we're playing with TikTok and in Huawei from a behind position. I'd rather have strategies which are where I'm quite sure the U.S. will win. We can win these battles with focus, great innovation, all the things that we do so well, and open borders and lots of people using it outside the country.